All right, let's dive into a concept that could honestly change the game for you. We're talking about a simple shift in thinking that can take you from someone who starts strong and then fizzles out to someone who actually sees things all the way through. So, let me ask you this. Does this sound familiar? You set some huge, exciting goal. Maybe it's losing 10 kilos, writing a novel, or launching that side hustle. You're all fired up. And then, a few weeks later, poof, the motivation is just gone. Trust me, we've all been there. It is so common, and man, is it frustrating.
But here's the big secret. The problem isn't that you're lazy, and it's not a lack of willpower. The goal itself is probably fine. The real issue, the one thing that trips up almost everyone, is all about where you're putting your focus.
And that brings us right to the heart of the matter. Let's break down this first big idea. The massive difference between focusing on the outcome versus focusing on the process. Okay, so let's really get into this. Think of it like this. On one side, you have the outcome. That's the big shiny prize, right? Lose 10 kilos. And on the other, you have the process. That's the nitty-gritty stuff you do every day, like work out for 30 minutes. Now, here's the absolute game changer. You can't really control the outcome. I mean, life happens. But your process, that's 100% in your hands. You know, the author James Clear just nails this. He says, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. I mean, how powerful is that? Your goals are the destination on the map, but your systems, that's the engine that actually gets you there, day in and day out.
Okay, so why is this one little shift in focus so incredibly powerful? Well, let's dive into why the process is, without a doubt, king.
Because here's the deal, obsessing over the outcome, it totally backfires. For one, you're always waiting for this big payoff that's miles away, and that just crushes your motivation. You hit the gym for 2 weeks, the scale doesn't budge, and you're like, forget this. Second, the result is always a lagging indicator. The hard work you do today won't show up for weeks, maybe even months. And here's the craziest part. Sometimes, when you finally hit that goal, it feels kind of empty. You're just left thinking, well, what now? And the psychology behind this is fascinating. When you're all about the outcome, you get stuck in what's called gap thinking. You're constantly looking at this massive gap between you and your goal, and it's just frustrating. But when you switch your focus to the process, you move into gain thinking. Every single day you complete your task, that's a win. You get this little hit of satisfaction, which makes you want to do it again tomorrow. It creates this awesome positive feedback loop.
And hey, this isn't just some nice theory. This is how the absolute best of the best operate. I mean, look at Michael Phelps. You think his day-to-day focus was on winning a gold medal? No way. It was on the process, the boring stuff, showing up to the pool at dawn, swimming those thousands of laps. The 28 Olympic medals, they weren't the goal. They were the result of an incredible system. And it's not just in sports. Take a totally different field like writing. Stephen King. The guy doesn't sit down at his desk thinking, I gotta write a bestseller today. Nope. His focus is on his non-negotiable process. Write 2,000 words every single day, no matter what. All those classic books we love, they're just the inevitable outcome of a system he has never broken. All right, so I think we're all on board with why this works. The big question is, how? How do you actually build one of these systems for yourself? Let's get practical and talk about the action plan. So here's a super simple 4-step plan you can use right now. Step 1, use that big outcome goal as your compass. It just points you in the right direction. Step 2, design your system. What's the daily, tiny thing you can do that moves you forward? Step 3, and listen up, because this one is crucial. Track the process, not the result. Your only question at the end of the day is, did I do my thing? If the answer is yes, you won. And finally, step 4, let go of the timeline. Seriously. Just trust your system and let the results happen when they happen. Okay, but before you run off and build your system, let's talk about a few common traps to avoid. First, don't make your daily habit too hard. Start so small it feels silly so you literally can't say no. Second, don't try to juggle a million things. Pick one key process for each goal and focus on that. And last but not least, you've got to measure your consistency. Put an X on a calendar, use an app, whatever. Seeing that chain of successes grow is unbelievably motivating. All right, let's wrap this all up. We can boil this entire idea down, this whole philosophy, into a single new question that you can ask yourself every single day. Here's the new way to think about it. Your goals, they're for direction. That's it. It's like punching a destination into your GPS. Super important for knowing where to go, but it doesn't actually make the car move an inch.
Your systems, on the other hand, they're for progress. Your system is the engine. It's the thing that's actually doing the work, pushing you forward, mile by mile, day by day.
So here's my challenge to you. I want you to completely stop asking, oh, when am I going to get there? Instead, I want you to wake up and ask yourself a much better, much more powerful question. What's my process today? Because at the end of the day, success isn't some magical destination you just arrive at. It's a system that you live, one day at a time.